just about completed. Just check, and make sure it all looks pretty nice. So noticed how the subheading there sticks out a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and use my tools here and pull down just right here, hit return there, shift return, so that lines up similar. And then, move the objects around based on where it looks nice. So it flows nicely around there, the text wrap. So now we're going to move on to a few effects. One of those effects is adding a shadow. So I'm going to add a shadow here on this Gibson pick, and I have a clipping mat. So I'm going to select this object here, and I'm going to go into, let's just go to drop shadow, and it will tell us it's in effects. So object, effects, drop shadow. And let's pick a few coordinates here. So one of the things I'm going to do is just normal. I don't want a really harsh. I can preview it. I don't want a really harsh shadow. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter, but if it looks too pale, it looks kind of odd too. I'm going to, you can change the angle here. I think it looks best on the right-hand side, and the distance. So I just want it to be just a slight shadow. And then for the color here, one of the things I could do is maybe use I could pick a color. So I'm going to go over here, and maybe I'll create a new swatch for that. So I'm going to hit OK, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to pick out maybe a slightly red swatch. So one of the things I could do is with my color swatch, I could click in here. Oops, I don't want to have it selected first. I'm going to hit Command Z there. And I'm going to just select that image and pull. I want to pull a little bit of maybe a red color, and I'm going to try out this color theme tool. So within the color theme tool, I'm just going to maybe grab a little bit of this red area here, and it will give me some options. I'm going to use that darker option and pull it into my swatches. I'm going to add it to my swatches, add this theme to my swatches here, and I'm going to go look in my swatches. They're not out, so I'm going to go get them in my window color swatches, and I have. So now that I have that color swatch ready, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to select this again. I'm going to go to my object, effects, drop shadow again, and I'm just going to switch out that color for that new one I just made in my color themes. And so it's slightly different. It's not quite black. It looks really interesting. So create a soft drops out of your stuff there. Now I'm going to show you a little bit in effects. So we're going to go to Window, Effects. And this is about opacity. And we've got those blend modes. You remember those from Photoshop? So what we're going to do right here, we're just going to create a little image on top of this area just for a little interest here. I'm going to use my swatches. I'm going to use that yellow swatch, and maybe I'm going to hold down Option and Shift to carry it over. I'm going to use a black swatch, and the black swatch I'll change the opacity here, and you can see the two colors through it. Feel free to try the multiply. You know how those work. We've used those quite a bit in Photoshop. And then, so I'm just going to create a normal, a little grayer model, a little stripy thing here that just causes a little interest, something to happen right there. And maybe I'll come in with a little bit of, I'm going to Option, Shift this shape over. You could do this however you want there. You don't have to do it perfectly like I've done it. You can try some of those color theme colors. So maybe I bring this in. I don't have to have an opacity on it or blend mode. Try that opacity out on other things too in those effects. It's really nice. And maybe I just bring in a really thin line here just for a detail. And maybe that is in that Pantone color. Right there. And then I just have to pick the opacity correctly on that one to and I can play around with that. So we've added some effects. Let's package this up and save it. So you can play around with that however you want that to look over there. And we are all done. Just double check all your text. If you have any sentences that need a little work, this is a little trick for a designer. So this sentence is not as long. I'm just going to select that sentence. Remember, 1, 2, 3 clicks for a sentence. I'm going to go Command T, and I would just track that out just a little bit on that sentence. Maybe we'll just go to 10. It'll make it look a little bit more even. That is something that you can easily go in and fix. I could hit a soft return right here, or I could just let this one hang. I don't like that they after that sentence. I could just bring it over ever so slightly, and I could bring this last sentence up just a little bit. You don't want to go a lot of negatives, but just a little bit looks nice. The other thing I could do instead of bringing that up is I could bring this in just a little bit. So I could bring this back, -5. Let's do a number in between. Like we're going to pick like a -11 and see what that looks like. That looks a little bit better. You know, if I wanted to bring the second line out, just 5 points for tracking. You could do this all day. But you just want to get the ones that really have a strong divot that make your sentences not flow as well. So this second line here, it's already brought it in. We did that earlier. Don't want to bring it in too much. So let's package this up and let's save a PDF as a spread. So I want you to package it. So save it first. So I'm going to save this. Make sure you save your work. You want to save about every 10 minutes, especially if I'm going to run out of battery here. So I would really be missing this. So in your folder, I'm just going to go ahead and save this as guitar text wrap spreads, and then your name. How about we don't even need guitar. We're just going to call this text wrap spreads _ your name. Go ahead and save it. I would package it up so you can find all your files. I don't need a package file for myself, but I think that you should package it up. But after you package it up, let me show you how to make a very special PDF, and this is what I need. So we are going to export it as a PDF. We're going to call it text wrap spreads, your name. And this is the one I want you to turn into me. So double check that it has spreads in there. So right here, you need to click spread. So if it says pages, now this is a great thing to know too. If you just wanted to make one of these pages into a PDF, or page 2 and 3, you could put that little comma there and it would do that. But I'm just going to do spreads. We want to do all of them. None in particular. We're going to do all spreads. Make sure to click spreads. And I'm going to export that as a small size. That's how you're going to turn it in. And this, after it makes its PDF, it should open up. If you've selected, I may not have selected that. And we will have a document very similar to this one here. I'm going to click on my PDF here so I can show. I got a spinny rainbow now. Okay, so my document, when I go to my pages, this is an Acrobat. So that first page is a single page, and it shows that second page. Anywhere there's a spread, it will show it with spreads. So make sure that you are able to export it as a spread so we can see that nice flow from column to column. And this would probably be just folded in half. And the brochure would be this size, but here's a spread for the inside, and then the back side's just plain. So that is all for text wrap. Please turn in one PDF that looks just like this.